Hey, I'm back. Another vid commentating about one of my recent top shmups of all time. And as you can see from the gameplay, uh, it's Daioujou. It's amazing. What can I say? Uh, this game has been praised for like 20 years, I guess. And there are already like 2 or 3 videos that glaze Daioujou already, but I wanna give my piece too. And Daioujou is basically the sequel. It's a like the sequel to Dodonpachi, made by Cave. And the way I discovered it is I knew Dodonpachi. My first game, my baby's first Dodonpachi game, Daifukatsu. I played it. Daifukatsu, I got a 1-all. It's very easy, very cheesable, exploitable, but has a deep scoring system nonetheless, and I appreciate its. The scoring is pretty crazy, which I appreciate, but survival-wise, I'd say it's pretty questionable. Not as much as the Toho games I've talked about. The resources are still hard to get, but even without the last extend, I can still get it when I've never had the second extend. So anyway, about Daioujou. This game, I just didn't know what Daioujou is until like so many players talked about it, so many videos, I'd say. Electric Underground, Hazy Levels, and other miscellaneous, I don't know how to pronounce it, but miscellaneous YouTubers or players. And I thought, what's Daioujou? Why does everybody praise it? Why is it considered a masterpiece? And I watched Electric Underground's M2 remake review, and I'm sold. I want to buy it. I want to try it out. Let's see what this game is made of. And I play it, and I don't want to like. At first, I kind of assumed that like, okay, maybe this game is a bit overrated, maybe, but that's a very bad thing to assume. Never assume a game is overrated unless you've tried it out. Just like Elden Ring, that game is overrated as fuck, to be honest. Anyway, no offense to the Souls players, but just speaking the truth. I played the game first time, I got bodied, and I thought, okay, maybe I can understand why people love this game a lot. And my stream is up there. First time trying Daioujou on the PlayStation 4. I've played it on and off for a really long time, and I think winter break at the end of the year kinda clicked for me. You know, the cliche, the game suddenly clicked sort of cliche. And I want to talk about 2 types of games that come to mind whenever I think about Daioujou. There are 2 types of games for me when it comes to like these fighting games, shmups, and such. Games that make sense and games that don't make sense. I've spoken about, I think I did say the line, games that make sense or games that don't, like, this game makes a lot of sense or this game doesn't make any sense towards some Toho games. And I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna use fighting games as an example. And games, let's start with, okay, so a game that makes sense or doesn't make sense can be either good or bad based on the execution and effort by the devs. And a game that makes a lot of sense, that is basically intended or tailored by the devs to play like that or like so. The example give is BlazBlue Central Fiction. And I might be wrong, I might be right, but the way this game is built, so to give you context, BlazBlue, the first game back, Calamity Trigger, during 2008, 2009, was a very questionable game, very kusoge, you could say, and many unintended things happened for this game. And let me think. And the game basically kept getting new updates, and these updates come in the form of new games with new main menu theme, new OST, and the content in BlazBlue keeps adding up until suddenly it hits its last destination, which is BlazBlue Central Fiction. And don't count Cross Tag Battle, that's not a BlazBlue game at all. It's a crossover of many fighting games that are made by Arxis and French Bread. And BlazBlue Central Fiction, the mechanics in it are built with intent, and the developers wanted to play in this exact way. If you there is nothing unintended that comes out of the game that didn't, rarely do you see it. Rarely do you see something unintended by the devs, like an infinite or something, or an exploit of some sort. It's very rare. Actually, to give a further example, recently with the rollback netcode addition in BlazBlue Central Fiction, now that people actually play it much more rather than just in the past, because it's a 2017 game, 2015 maybe, it's people discovered something unintended, like a super jumps of some sort. I think the tech is with a character called Mai Natsume, if you want to look it up, but it's very impractical and very hard to execute. And in a way you could say this is unintended by the devs, but this is just a rare case of something unintended that's happening. And to go into another example is a game that doesn't make sense, is to explain to you what a game that doesn't make any sense is a game that is organically grown by the fans. And a game like that I would use, and it's not a fighting game, it's a fighter, it's a platform fighter, it's Super Smash Bros. Melee. And that game had some unintended shit in it. Let's be real. I don't think anyone would disagree that wave dashing is an accident. Everything that involves the physics of this game is clearly an accident of some sort. I heard the story of, we discovered wave dashing but we never fixed it. If they would have fixed it, they would have fixed it in 1.02, but that never happened. So wave dashing, the whatever, the dumb tech names that are named by the player, Amsah tech, and it's all a derivative of the physics engine of the game, basically, and just not working as intended. But that's an organically grown game, and no, I don't think anybody can disagree about it, unless you have something to say about it and you're a Melee head. You can hop on and on comment section and we can discuss it. Same with BlazBlue. I would love to discuss these games because and another thing I would love to say is that these games are very similar in a sort of way. I cannot explain, but I'd love to make a vid about it, comparing Melee and BlazBlue Central Fiction, because I discussed that with a friend in the VC who plays Melee a lot. Now onto the game. Now, why did I explain all of this? Daioujou, in my opinion, is a game that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, but there are some things that happen that are unintended by the devs. but most of the time, white label is like, there are some unintended shit, but black label, it's a much more updated, polished game. But overall, even white label is super polished. And let me get into why this game just makes a lot of sense. I just don't want... I'm gonna keep the presentation for last, because the presentation, I don't have much to say about it except for it's awesome. There. And the game mechanics and how they work together. And you wouldn't know unless you're playing the port and looking at the stats you see on the left. You got a lot of things happening in this game, and when you kill enemies, you charge up your hypermeter, and you got... Okay, I think I have to explain the fundamentals of Dodonpachi in general, but because Daioujou just carries over what has been established in Dodonpachi and improves upon them, and just like uses the foundations established in Dodonpachi to create something that makes sense and unique. And where I'm trying to get to is the hyper system, but I'm gonna talk about it later. So in Dodonpachi you have shot and laser, okay? And shot is the auto shot. You press the auto button and it shoots. You got a bomb, but you know, let's not care about the bomb. It's a bomb that breaks your combo. And I'm gonna talk about the combo later. And you got your laser, and your laser is a concentrated damaging shot. Like you hold shot button and you laser the enemy and they die quickly. And in this game you got a combo bar that increases or decreases depending on if you're shooting or not. And to keep your combo going, and you're gonna think, okay, if I use my auto shot and then an enemy doesn't die, I'm not gonna be able to continue the combo even with the laser. No, the laser actually keeps your combo alive only a bit. If you see the combo gauge, and what you do out of this is you wanna quickly hit an enemy after the big enemy dies. That's called linking, basically. And the way... guys, what was I about to say? Yeah, lasers killing enemies doesn't really increase the gauge that much as the auto fire. The auto fire increases the gauge much more. So there's this... what does conundrum mean? There's this thing about this game that makes it... I'm not gonna use the word that makes it really click and like execution heavy. There's like some execution included, and the thing about combos in Dodonpachi is that they give you a score, and bees give you a little bit of score. That's it. And they like the bees multiply, I think, every time you collect them, and then you go into Dodonpachi Daioujou, and oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the aura. Yeah, the aura is like a double damage. It's like a separate thing than the what's it called? You know, the laser, aura and laser, like they work together to do a ton of damage, almost double the damage. And this aura thing is just for damage in and comboing in Dodonpachi. Like you can do tricks with it. I'm not that well versed in Dodonpachi, but in Daioujou, all of these mechanics, all of these foundations that I have mentioned just now are improved upon to work with the hyper system. It makes sense. Repeat with me, it makes sense. And you kill enemies, you increase the hyper gauge, and the aura increases the hyper gauge much more, and when you collect the bees with a high combo, you increase the gauge a lot more. Like the maximum you can increase with high options, with high combo, is 30% of the meter. It makes a lot of sense. You're not going to be able to hyper over, like not going to be able to collect bees and just hyper over and over and over. And same with, like, when you turn on the hyper, you don't really build. You don't really like when you collect bees. You don't build meter from collecting bees with a high combo when you're in hyper. That's what I was about trying to say. That was a bit of a brain fart. And when you activate hyper, the comboing becomes much more lenient. Your aura and laser increase the hyper meter a lot more, as you have seen with me going against the stage 4 boss Siryu and exploiting the gear thing to build 4 hypers. And basically everything just works. And you see score runners delay their collecting a lot more, not only because of the combo only, it's because they wanna collect that bee out of the hyper so that they can build another hyper for later. What else? And you'd think, okay, hypers, what do? They not only increase your damage, laser damage specifically, and widen your shot, they also cancel the bullets on screen and give you about 1.5 seconds of invincibility, and during bosses 2 seconds of invincibility. And hypers are very necessary to defeat the true last boss, Hibachi. And what hypers do is they make the enemies go bonkers, like fire a lot more faster bullets in large quantity and faster bullets. Same with the boss. The boss becomes hella more scary when you hyper. And that also like works in tandem with the hit count during bosses. When you get a large hit count, it is multiplied with a certain number, certain value, to give you a score. And building a lot of hits against bosses gives you tons of score. Not tons of score, like a lot of score, that's all. And when you hit a boss with a hyper, like, I think your combo goes up to 5,000. If you've seen my stage 4 boss fight, it goes up to 4,000, which is crazy. What else? What else to talk about? Yeah, the rank system. Yep, the most important thing in this game. Even though you don't really need to focus on it, but you see the difference when you hyper a lot. So in scoring, you're gonna be wanting to hyper at specific points as much as possible, because hypering also multiplies your hits, and you want a high amount of hits to get a lot of score, because the bees are changed to a value like 2000, I think, times the, like 2000 something times the number of hits you have, and the last bee is multiplied by 2 above that. And every time you hyper, the rank increases, the hyper rank increases. And there is a limit, but I've never hit the limit. I think you hit the limit in Black Label if you 2-loop and score, and you hit the limit in White Label if you like don't really decrease it manually. And I'm gonna get into how to decrease it manually, and you're gonna think, oh, I know, raise his hand. Bombing. No, it's not bombing. You have to hyper and then cancel the hyper with the bomb. that decreases rank, which is smart because you're gonna kill your combo and you're not gonna repeatedly get hypers again and again and again. That's smart. Like, maybe you can exploit it or something, but I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable on that. And what rank does, of course, speeds up bullets. Interval thingy you see on the left, the game rank, you see it. And what else? Yeah, just, I think there is a way to look at the difference of high rank versus low rank. Try not to like go through the game without decreasing the rank. Go into stage 3, and the biggest difference would be the mid boss. And the mid boss, what would he do is he would shoot a lot more bullets faster, a lot more bullets on pattern number 2, I think. I'm not sure, but overall stage 3 becomes much harder when you play it with high rank. Same goes for the later stages, because by the time you're finished with stage 2, your hyper rank would be like level 9, level 10. And yeah, it's just gonna give you the feedback you want. It's gonna give you like, oh, so you're gonna get the treatment you deserve for hypering a lot. And there are comeback mechanics in the game. You can see, like, if you miss, you get 25% hyper meter. And what else? I don't think I have anything to talk about, but there is a comeback mechanic. Yeah, if you die while you're not in a hyper, you're gonna get an additional bump slot, depending on the elemental doll you choose, which is for Xy's case, it's 2 bombs only max. For Linian is 2 to 4, and Xy has, Shotty has like 3 to 6, I think, 5. I'm not sure. She gets a lot of bombs. I mean, she deserves it. She's pretty shit, honestly. Like, you don't play Shotty on if you want a combo in the game. You're gonna drop a lot of combo. And the game has a second loop and like 3 editions. It has white label, black label, and the notorious gray label, which I'm playing right now. Gray label used to be lost, but now it was leaked and it was put in the recent port, M2's port. I'm playing it right now here in this video. And okay, let's get into the presentation of the game. The music, it's atmospheric. Like, atmospheric is the best way to describe it. Some people would find it bad, I think, but I really love it. It's pretty good. It's so good that it has 3 other remixes for each port that was made. PS2, Xbox, and M2. And my favorite remix is actually the Xbox port, the Xbox 360 port. It's fucking amazing. It flips the vibe from the OST to 180 degrees. And same with how the stage design and map design. I think that was excessively talked about. Oh, it all makes sense. The enemy placements and all, and such and such and such. But I don't want to talk about that. I think that's plain obvious that how good this game is designed. Like, You can get a full combo in every stage. Like even without tasks on Black Label at least. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. Play Daioujou, please. Whether it's gonna be Mame or on Mame or you know, what else? The PS2 port, which is a bit like expensive, or the shitty Xbox port, Xbox 360, or what I recommend is the M2 port on the PS4 if you can use a pad or an arcade stick. You're okay with that, because my Saturn pad doesn't work with the PS4, so I every time I play on the PS4 I have to play on the arcade stick, because the D-pad gets really tiring when I play a lot. Saturn pad is just much better, so I opt for the Mame. Mame, I think it's pronounced Mame. I don't know why I say Mame, but Mame. Mame has a lot of more features, even though it's a bit complex. But trust me, it's really good. And I'm gonna say it right now. The sequenced arcade audio is much better than the like stereo or arcade, a quote-unquote arcade perfect OST in M2, because you know you can hear like the crunchy quality, like you're in an arcade. You add like a shader filter, CRT filter, and you feel like you're at the arcades playing Daioujou on an arcade machine, which would be fun. That's all I have to say. Oh yeah. Last thing. Trust me. The girls are cute. Shotya is the best. Bye.